What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here for another Madden 21 Fantasy Draft Rebuild Challenge. And this one is going to get a little tough. You know, we've had some success, our own successes as of late. And I feel maybe we pushed the limit here a little bit. Let's put on a set challenge. That's going to be very difficult to necessarily have our Super Bowl winning formula, the winning combination right from this draft. We might actually have to rely a little bit through the Madden drafts, especially with how we are building this team, because we will be able to hopefully find some upgradable talent to the Madden drafts, because for our base team, we have to get players that were undrafted. I had to go through, I made a list of guys that are undrafted. There are definitely some key targets that I want to try to inquire, but these are all guys that all 32 teams at one point initially passed on, slipped through the cracks, and then somehow, someway turned it around and was able to establish a little bit of an NFL career. I will say, looking at it, quarterback and defensive end, quarterback and edge rusher, arguably on either side of the ball, the most important position. There's not a lot. There is not a lot. I'll tell you right now, it's looking like some form of Kyle Allen or Case Keenum will probably end up being our quarterback. Or a defensive end might have to go all in to get Shaquille Barrett from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because the drop-off is astronomical. So that being said, the base team might not be amazing. But once we get in, if we can get some certain players in, looking at there's a lot of talent at corner. There's a lot of talent at running back. There's a lot of talent at wide receiver. And then we kind of just get back into the Madden draft where we can get, we can use all of our picks for second, third, fourth, fifth round, fill in the cracks a little bit. Yeah, I think we could do something. So let's get into the first 10 rounds of our challenge where we can only draft players that were undrafted. All right, for the first round, we're going to get the only X factor that exists. That was an undrafted player. I really do feel like for how we're going to be drafting this, we should be able to get all of my top targets, which I'm not going to unveil in case we can't. But we'll start with Adam Thielen here. Out of the Minnesota Vikings, was a UDFA, and one hell of a story, man. He's now really emerged as one of the better route runners in the National Football League. Very reliable, almost a perennial 1,000-yard receiver. He's a little bit old at 30, so from that standpoint, the age value makes this pick a little bit of a reach, number 89 in true value. But, we got to start stacking our best players. We got to get the best players, especially with a challenge and draft restrictions, such as UDFAs only. All right, well, I don't think we're going to have much of an issue with our skill position players. So in the second round, we're going to follow that up with Austin Eckler, 111 in true value, one hell of a UDFA for the LA Chargers. Third round, defense, Shaq Barrett. Massive drop-off in the level of defensive ends. We'll move to DN because I don't think we're going to be playing in a base 3-4, but who knows? Maybe how we have to build our team does look like we could. There's a lot of nose tackles that go to UDFA, but let's just make sure we lock down our top edge. Next up, we'll see, depending on who's there, whether go wide receiver or corner. He was literally the second highest wide receiver remaining. Luckily, we can get him. And it's Robbie Anderson, UDFA at a Temple. And out of all these UDFAs, I made a video saying Philly should get Robbie Anderson at a Temple. Local kid, had 4.3 speed at his pro day. And we didn't get him. And then we had a chance to trade for him when he was on the Jets, and we didn't get him. And then he became a free agent. And he didn't get him because he wanted to go to Carolina and play with his former Temple head coach, Matt Rule. And now Robbie Anderson's legitimately, at least statistically, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL this year. So we missed out on a couple corners here. I was looking, J.C. Jackson of the Patriots was a guy that I tried to target. He wasn't there. So we'll still get a really good one here in Bryce Callahan, only 28, more of a slot, but 83 star dev, UDFA. I think his first team was the Bears. But that's a good pick. Grab another player, Anthony Harris, free safety of the Minnesota Vikings. Another UDFA at 28. I'm starting to think that we might only have a 3-year window here to win a Super Bowl before all of our good players are absolutely and have regressed to garbage. But we're stacking some solid guys, especially now in the secondary, Callahan and now Anthony Harris. Hate to do this because he's so bad for the Eagles this year, but Kelly Coleman was UDFA at USC, still only 28. And we're pretty much going to play like the Eagles. We're just going to have a bunch of slot guys. So he has the dev trade. He's still got 2-3 years of being solid and in developing. He could peak his highs an 82, 83. So let's talk about the secondary here a little bit. All right, Lael Collins is gone. Was kind of banking that he'd still be there. But that's fine because we can just go. Jason Peters is a UDFA, but we can go here and grab Norwell. Norwell's a UDFA at Ohio State, 28. Has a star dev trait for our 8th selection in our draft. We'll get 2 more picks, and then I'll fill out the rest of the team. and we'll get into this. All right, I'm going to think a little bit outside the box here, just because I know Deontay Harris has the depth trait because he's a special teamer, but he still has that depth trait. If I make him a slot wide receiver right at the get-go, he could be like a long-term play to develop into something nice because he's only 22. So this pick here, we strictly made on the fact that he depth trait alone and age. So let's grab Harris, the return man, dangerous return man from the New Orleans Saints. And our final selection for the little draft portion, we're going to grab a linebacker here. Corey Littleton was a UDFA before he went to the Rams. 75, got that star dev, only 26, so still has his best football ahead of him. So he will be our final selection as we land our first linebacker. Still not sure about what our formation is going to be, so we might have to slide him inside, but either way, he could do it because he's a cover guy. All right, so the draft has concluded. Let's meet our team. We're a 78 overall with an 80 offense. 77 defense. Now, I did let the sim finish it out, so some of our depth players may have been drafted, but they're never going to feature at any point in this video. It's just to make roster requirements. So we have Kyle Allen as our quarterback. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, probably going to draft a quarterback in our first draft, but we'll see what we can do. Honestly, I was going to put maybe the restriction that when we get to the Madden draft, we can only draft UDFAs as well, but I don't know. Should we? Like that in the spirit of the video, that makes sense, but also, pretty damn tough to probably build this team into a Super Bowl champion. I don't know. We'll see how year one goes. If year one sucks and we actually have like a top 5, if we have a top 10 pick, which we probably will, but we'll just say this, we'll put the requirement, if we have a top 10 pick, we'll just draft as is, because that's pretty much just writing in the sand that we're going to need to add better talent. If we 8-8 somewhere outside of a top 10 pick, maybe I just keep the restrictions that we have to draft UDFA caliber players, projected players in the Madden Generate draft class. So we have Kyle Allen at quarterback. At running back, we have Austin Eckler, James Robinson, and Boston Scott. So I'm actually very happy with that running back room. Don't even think we need to touch that for this entire rebuild. We got Rijkaard, one of the best fullbacks in the NFL. So our rushing attack's on point. At wide receiver, we have Adam Thielen, Robbie Anderson, Tim Patrick, Steven Sims, and superstar dev Deontay Harris. Steven Sims also chilling with a star dev. So I think another position, really outside of the age of Adam Thielen, this is a group that's, probably could be necessarily set in stone for the remainder of this rebuild. I don't think we're going to have to really target a wide receiver. Tight end, solid. We got Cam Brate and Blake Jarwin. Serviceable to trending towards good, but not really a long-term option here. Offensive line was kind of tough. We got Villanueva, 31-79 star dev at left tackle. Left guard, we got Norwell. Center, I moved guard Quentin Spain. I had to get creative on the O-line. Quentin Spain. Right guard, we have Donald Penn. And then at right tackle, DeMar Dodson. The offensive line is very, very, very old. And, another reason why, if you're kind of thinking maybe we go UDFAs, I have to replace this offensive line sooner than later for the most part. And it's not going to be feasible. We got Shaq Barrett at defensive end. We have Mario Addison at defensive end. These are really the only 2 edge rushers that I thought were worth drafting that were UDFA, so I'm happy that I was able to get them both. Inside of D-tackle, we have Abry Jones from Jacksonville, Roy Robertson Harris, the D-end from Chicago, moving into D-tackle, and David Irving, reinstated back into the league. Linebacker core, we got Will Compton, busting with the boys. Middle linebacker, TJ Edwards from the Eagles, and right outside linebacker, Corey Littleton, 75, with that star dev, as you saw us draft him. Secondary is, we got names. We got Levi Wallace, Darius Williams, NRC, and Bryce Callahan. So when you look at this, pretty much built like the Philadelphia Eagles. Got a bunch of slot corners. Levi Wallace is 6 feet tall. He can kind of go on the outside. Free safety, we got Anthony Harris. Strong safety, Tashawn Gibson Sr. out of Wyoming, was UDFA before he went to, where did he start? He started with the Browns, right? Went to the Browns and he went to the Jags. I think that's kind of his career path. And I got one hell of a special teams. Josh Lambo, superstar dev kicker. Johnny Hecker, probably maybe the best punter of all, the most talented punter of all time. Might be a Hall of Famer when all is said and done. So, you kind of summarize. Really happy with my running backs. Really happy with my wide receivers. Corners could be a lot worse. Our secondary generally could be a lot worse than what it is. We probably have fringe top 10 secondary, I could say, potentially. Fringe, somewhere in that way. They can play like a top 10 secondary, and we easily have the best special teams in the NFL. So I have no real idea what sort of expectations, what sort of win-loss I should set here for year one. Let's just hope it's a good team, and they can find a way to stack some wins. But I'll tell you right now, I am definitely much more leaning towards just drafting whoever in the generated draft classes because I can't control who's going to be UDFA. They can be absolutely garbage. They can be great. We can only ever find D tackles and wide receivers. So I think for the sake of this rebuild, the draft was all UDFAs, and we can build the team and rebuild the team because it's about rebuilding, right? It's a rebuild challenge, and we can just draft as normal. So that being said, let's get into year one. So at the end of year one, we Jeff Fishered it. 7-9, a lot better than what I thought. There was a point, we started 3-0, and then at the bye, we were 5-3. So there was a stretch, I think we lost 5 games in a row. So you look at the standings, this is not a bad team, man. Kyle Allen did the damn thing. We're up to an 81. We had no dev traits. We actually had a dev trait scenario for Shaq Barrett to go to an X Factor. He did not achieve it. So, you know, somewhat competitive. I'm shocked, honestly. I thought this team was going to be way worse than that. Kyle Allen, you know, obviously quarterback play wasn't ideal. We had to more so rely on the running backs. Eckler, almost 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. 7 for James Robinson. 4 for Boston Scott. Makes sense. Robbie Anderson, 8-5. 8-2 for Harris. 7-2 for Adam Thielen. Given the fact that he's our only X Factor, thought we would have a little bit more reliance on him. He'd have more Robbie Anderson-like numbers. The fact that he only has 59. Just didn't do a good enough job getting the ball to our best skill position player. Defensively, Littleton, over 100 tackles. NRC with over 100 tackles. We got 8.5 sacks, Shaq Barrett. 6.5, Mario Addison. 5 from Robertson Harris at D tackle. Like, those are all solid numbers. Interceptions look pretty damn good. Darius Williams, 3 picks. 2 Littleton, 2 NRC, 2 Callahan, 2 Gibson, and 1 for Will Compton. So those are actually generally pretty good numbers. Hey, it's a Mike Zimmer defense, right? What can you say? That's what they do. 26 offense, 17th defense. Yeah, Mahomes is the MVP on the Jags. That's great to know. Let's just see if we have any Vikings. Did any Vikings get any respect in any of these awards? Look for purple. James Robinson, number 4 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Best quarterback. Yeah, we're not going to have anything there. Austin Eckler, number 9 for running backs. Some respect to my team, just a little bit. I don't even have best kicker. Come on, Lambo. Somewhere on here. There we go. Number 3 for the best kicker. So year one's in the book. 7-9, better than expected. So hopefully, you know, it's a good draft for us. I didn't even bother looking at free agency. I think that's something I'm going to eliminate from these rebuild challenges is like free agency for the first couple years. Maybe I might even eliminate it all the way up until the 5th and final year if that's how far it goes. Because really free agency in year one in particular kind of blows out the whole challenge to begin with because then I could just start picking my team and filling it out. So as we go to the draft, positions that we need. Well, looking at the offensive line here, we definitely need a guard and a tackle because Blake Jarwin, our tight end, is playing right tackle right now because Donald Penn retired. And we had DeMar Dotson retired. Want to look for a quarterback, Kyle Allen. I mean, if we have to go with Kyle Allen yet again, fine. But it's guard, tackle, and quarterback on the offensive side of the ball is definitely where I want to go. We had dev traits because it's Madden 21. So Compton went up a dev trait. Littleton went up a dev trait. So it would be cool to get a middle linebacker potentially to come in and add some competition there for TJ Edwards. I think we can look at D-end if there's one. I think we can look at strong safety. If there's one, we could also look at an outside corner that's taller than 6 feet tall. So there are some spots, but definitely tackle, guard, and quarterback are the big 2. I have no idea what the draft looks like, the board, or anything. We're probably going to be picking what, in the 10? 9. All right. Right tackle, guard, quarterback, safety, strong safety. What do we got? We got Lynn Andrews, mid-first rounder, looks pretty good. We have nothing at corner. Run-stopping linebacker, late first rounder. It's actually not that bad. Whoa. Grant Kirkpatrick, a middle linebacker. But look at this. Spencer Lipton, we could just wait and get a first-round caliber linebacker a lot later. Even Glenn James. So I think we're going to do that. Speed rusher. Didn't attend the combine. I'm intrigued. What do we got here? First-rounder D tackle. There's just always so many first-round D tackles. I would love it for it to switch it up a little bit. Mid-first round D end. Got some second-round talent, edge rushers. This guy. Early first-round Spencer Landry. Now, I've had someone send me that early first-rounders, those are the guys that always come up normal dev. Makes sense. Got some second-round tackles. Actually, not a bad roll of the dice here for tackles. The fact that we're getting anything That tackle looks good. This guy here could definitely kick out to tackle even though he's a center. Left tackle, there's nothing. Tight end, Ben Turner from Miami looks solid. That's a second-round option. We're good at wide receiver. Of course, there's some freaks at wideout. Von Bernard, late first-rounders. What do we got at quarterback? This guy, Lloyd Morton, mid-first-rounder. Yeah, let's do it. That'll be our pick. Stanford, strong-arm quarterback. Should have a dev? No, he doesn't, but he's 75 normal. Number 12 in true value, get him at 9. 92 throw power. Hey, we immediately just got an upgrade over Kyle Allen. That's good. Pick 105. I just got the number 9 player in the draft. Braxton Colbert, D tackle. Okay, cool. So as we look at the draft recap, might actually be like one of my best drafts, strongest drafts so far in Madden 21. So you saw the selection of our quarterback there. Outside of that, we got Alex Harrington at center, 72. We're gonna move around the offensive line, shuffle it around a little bit, but he was a top 100 player. We got Glenn James, 69, hidden dev linebacker in the 3rd round. So there we go. We have our upgrade there over TJ Edwards. We got a 75 normal dev D tackle. And then we got a 75 hidden dev D tackle in the 4th round. So kind of scary. Followed that up in the 4th round with a 70 D end, Isaiah Pratt out of USC. Scheme fit. Very happy with how that middle part went. We have Thomas Chambers here. Another center, 69. Probably could flex him out to tackle or guard. We're going to need to. Out of Florida, 6'4", 320, can do it. And then we finish out with a 68 defensive end out of Purdue, Tim Beckett. All in all, I mean, that's what? An average overall of like a 71, 72. And we had 2 hidden dev traits. And we have a guy that's an instant upgrade at quarterback. Don't think I had a better draft than this one so far in Madden 21. All right, so quick look at our changes as we get ready for year 2. Offensive line, a little bit of shuffling around here to kind of get everything. What the hell's going on here? How did my lineup change so quickly? Okay, so we're gonna go with Harrington at center. We're gonna take Chambers and start him at right guard, and then at right tackle we're gonna go Quentin Spain. Why wasn't that already what was set? I don't know. Outside of that, we have our new quarterback here in Lloyd Morton. So hopefully, 6'6", 230, prototypical as you could get. Hopefully he plays well, can get a dev trait. I don't know. Colbert and Craig are to start here at defensive tackle. James will take over for TJ Edwards at middle linebacker. The rest of the team will remain the same. So it's, 7-9 last year. We only got better. We only found a better quarterback. So we should definitely progress 8-8, 9-7, somewhere in that territory, right? Well, we were 5-1 and we finished up not making the playoffs, 8-8. Okay. Well, how did we get one win better? Well, the change of quarterback worked out fairly well. Lloyd Morton, 3,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks is a solid year. Rushing attack wasn't as dominant, wasn't as much of a focus for our offense this year as Eckler 3 yards shy of 1,000. For receiving, not great. What a shitty offense. No 1,000 yards. Like, what are we, the Eagles the year they went to the Super Bowl? And for what, you guys seen these menus? Oh my God, ever since the update, the menus are so laggy. It is unbelievably frustrating. Defensively, we got Glenn James, the rookie middle linebacker at Wake Forest, 128 tackles, 6 TFLs. NRC, another year over 100 tackles. Sacks are down. David Irving, 6.5 and 13. Those aren't numbers that you want to look for. 4 picks, Bryce Callahan, 3 for Deshaun Gibson, who we were actually able to re-sign. Interception numbers have actually kind of been pretty good, but again, it's a Mike Zimmer defense. 31st offense in the NFL. Makes sense. Continually getting a top 20 defense. Good. Joe Burrow was the MVP. And the NFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Sean Watson. Defensive Player of the Year went to TJ Watt. Offensive Rookie of the Year, go to our quarterback. Hey, Lloyd Morton. Appreciate it. Defense. Look at these fucking menus, man. How is look, I can't even shift. Glenn James, I'm done. Middle linebacker, I'm not even going, every time, 1 step forward, 5 steps backwards with this game. It's getting to year 3. All right, looking at our draft board here. I simmed it out. I made it. It was fairly solid. We'll see if we get any dev traits there. But our first couple of picks, I got Swinton. He was picked to go in the 3rd round. I just needed a D end. 75 normal dev. Looks fairly solid, just more so because Mary Addison's not getting any younger. Because Will Compton, I think, is now a 62 overall, even though he has a star dev. Busting with the boys. I got Will Jeffers here, another outside linebacker that's an insane-looking player. 91 speed, 90 acceleration, tackle, pursuit, hit power, awareness, strength, zone cover. This is actually an incredible linebacker. So we're going to move him to whatever Will Compton's spot was. I got a 68 strong safety, and then I simmed out after this. So let's just see if we got dev traits. Probably not. 6'7" tight end. Barnes is actually a good pick. I needed a tight end. There was a really big wide receiver, like one of those 6'4", 220 plus wide receivers I was thinking about drafting and moving him to tight end. He was off the board. So, hey, we got a hell of a middle linebacker and a nice-looking defensive end, a very athletic defensive end. I'm happy with those first two selections. They should contribute sooner than later. Let's get to year 3. Year 3, changes to the squad. Absolutely none. No dev traits were to be had on the offense. So it's pretty much lining up the exact same way that we did last year. Morton, even though he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, did not go up dev trait, but he's going to probably break 80 overall sooner than later, which is pretty damn good for a young player. Do we have any hidden devs? We didn't have any hidden devs, but we did have hidden devs on the defense. Colbert was a hidden dev D tackle. He was star. James was a hidden dev linebacker. He is star, so those guys will be starting. Jeffers, the second round linebacker, will unfortunately take over for Will Compton just because obviously we want to try and win here. Corey Littleton went up to a superstar X Factor because that's what outside linebackers do in this game. Look, why is it always so laggy, man? Superstar X Factor, though. I'm happy with it. I'm good with it. That should be enough to make up for these just unacceptably laggy menus since the last update. However, year 3, we've gone up 1. We were 7-9. Now we're at 8. I'll take 9-7 because 9-7 puts you right in the mix for making the playoffs. Year 3 is where it starts to get interesting for free agents. So let's start and sign the guys that we want to keep. So Josh Lambo, pretty much want him for the full remainder of the rebuild. Is, you know, there's not a whole lot of superstar dev kickers. They don't grow on trees. I tapped over once. I literally went once. And how many spots did I go? Like fucking 4. Oh my god. Okay, Reichert. Look, I hit A! Offer him the deal. Why is this so frustrating? Levi Wallace. I literally have to hit every button. I'm not doing this. Oh, even though we finished with a nice Week 17 victory over the Jets, this was our worst year by far, which is, you know, there's nothing honestly more rewarding in Madden than when your team is getting better, yet they perform worse than they ever have. So that's kind of where we're at. We didn't have any hidden dev traits to really worry about. No dev trait scenarios that were achieved. There was actually a couple that were triggered, but you know, it's a good team. Not a bad, good. Okay, good's relative. It's not a bad team. We'll be interested to see how the stats line up here. If we can figure out what was going on. Passing offense, oh, there you go. Not good enough. Not explosive enough. 23-8's not good enough. No 1,000-yard rusher. No 1,000-yard receiver. Defensively, the rookie, Jeffers, nice season. 95 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception. 10 sacks, Shaq Barrett, 7.5, Roy Robertson Harris. Oh, yeah, I definitely meant to go over 3, even though I pressed the button once. I hope to God that there's someone in the comments. I'm playing this on the 16th. It's Monday. If anyone else is playing like online franchise, is your menus laggy, or is this like a controller issue? Is my controller going to shit? Is there like a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth error, or is this just me? Because either way, like I will 100% go out right now, buy $100 on a controller to get rid of this, if that is a controller issue. But I hope, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Madden issue, because that's just, you know, where we're at. But maybe I give Madden benefit of the doubt that it's my controller. I don't know. But year 3 was a complete wash for no reason at all. All right, so year 3 free agency going into year 4. I figured we'll go into this knowing that we do need to add some guys to our roster. I want to utilize my cap room. I'm going after 2 guys that were UDFAs for themselves, so trying to keep within the spirit of this. So we're looking at Trey Herndon, the corner of formerly the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Anthony Ferks of the tight end, formerly of the Tennessee Titans. Both UDFAs, both would offer immediate upgrades to our squad. All right, Herndon declined, but we got Ferkser, who really is the only guy that we needed. He immediately offers a +5 overall upgrade to the tight end position. Looking at our draft recap, we got 2 really top-end talents. I pretty much just went BPA here. We needed a safety, and I got Julius Brooks at pick 3. Little bit of an oof at pick 3, ending up with a 73 overall. But the fact that he was 6'1", 225, and I can pretty much decide if I want him at free or strong, which he'll probably go to strong because we have Anthony Harris at free. He's fast, and we got we got a lot to work with. We got a middle linebacker. This guy looked insane. He had like 4.4 low. I think it was like 4.41 speed. All the stats. I mean, linebackers now are growing on trees, left, right, and center. And then we just kind of filled out with some solid players, all in the 60s thereabouts. So it's we got one starter. That's kind of what we're looking at. And honestly, like you start looking at it, like my linebackers that I've been getting might be better safeties than they are actual linebackers. Year 4, starting to almost feel like now or never for our team of mostly undrafted players that you know of. That's pretty much the easiest way to say it. Undrafted players that you know of, mixed in with some rookies. Again, offense, it's familiar faces all across the board here. We brought in Ferks from free agency, so a little bit of an upgrade at tight end. Again, another UDFA. All of our skill position players outside of Morton are UDFAs, and they're coming along nicely. I mean, our wide receiver core is good. Harris is actually developing nicely as a wide receiver 3. Eckler, Robinson, great 1-2 punch, or at least it should be a great 1-2 punch at running back. Defensively, no depth traits to be had. We'll go James at middle linebacker. It's coming. It's coming along. What we should do here, though, is make Brooks a strong safety so we can utilize our top 5 pick here. Hopefully you can get a depth trait. Safety devs, used to be. They were definitely less common now, but in Madden 20, they were very, very frequent. Like safety depth traits were almost like outside linebacker depth traits. But there we go. We got Brooks strong safety, so it's still a damn good team, man. And I don't know how we ended up 5-11 last year. Our passing offense kind of went in the shitter. So hopefully we can bounce back here in year 4. We actually might make the playoffs this year. I'm not going to spoil it because we want to talk about some free agents here because this is a big one. This is always the big one. Pretty much all of them. I'm going to Hecker, Norwell, Robinson, Littleton, Harris, even Sims, I guess, because we don't know what's going to happen with Adam Thielen, NRC, Harris, Villanueva. All these guys are getting themselves new contracts because I want to try to keep at least somewhat of the identity of this original team that we drafted here going into year 5 for the full 5 years of this rebuild. Shit. All right, year 4, 7-9. At least everyone else kind of was 7-9 within the division. Stats, Morton. I might just go back to Kyle Allen. Maybe like our best year was when we had Kyle Allen, UDF, when we stuck with what we're supposed to be doing here for this team and UDFAs only. I think I'm going to go back to Kyle Allen. Running attack was good. 1,000 yards for Eckler, 11 touchdowns, James Robinson, a little bit of a smash and dash. Thielen had a finally nice, respectable season. Robbie Anderson was solid. Ferks, that's great production. 68 catches, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns for him. Defensively, Glenn James, a bunch of tackles. Levi Wallace, a bunch of tackles. Julius Brooks, our third overall pick with over 100 tackles. Might have played himself into a defensive rookie of the year conversation. Shaq Barrett, solid year. 10 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. 2 picks, Littleton leading the team. Definitely a massive drop-off for total team interceptions this season. Oh, man, our offense just is the shits. It's the shits. Let's see, do we got Joe Burrow's your MVP? Let's just see, do we have any Vikings winning any awards? Russell Wilson, TJ Watt. We got Julius Brooks winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, which is kind of what we were hoping for. That's it. I'm honestly thinking it's year 5. We got to throw it all in the air. Let's give it back to Kyle Allen. Give the reins back to Kyle Allen. Well, if we're going to kick the starting spot back to Kyle Allen, let's just keep with UDFAs only. So we're going to try and get Trey Herndon again. He declined our offer last year. He's a UDFA. And same with Trey Burton at tight end. He was a UDFA star dev. Even though Ferks had a great year, it's good to have 2 really, really solid receiving tight ends. For our final draft, I needed a tackle. I needed a guy that I could swing in at left tackle that would be better than I think a 68. So we just swung at the 2 highest linemen that was available. We have Malik Cofield out of Alabama, who let's just move them both to left tackle and see who has the highest rating. I assume his rating will stay at a 71, but you never know. Those people that talk about switching offensive line positions, like wiping your ass with the opposite hand. So maybe there's a difference there. Kurt Busch out of Ohio State was a 72 center. Both these guys were early second-round talent, so it makes sense that they're in the same ballpark. But the best tackle of the bunch is Busch, who actually goes up to a 73. So congratulations. You've earned that position. I let the computer sim out the rest of the draft. We get a 69 normal, 67 hidden dev Eddie Nix out of Clemson, free safety. Cool. 67 normal. We get a 68 normal. Andrew Tung, cool name. And then Zach Ash. But there we go. We found our tackle, Kurt Busch. Mission accomplished. Year 5, final year, going back to Kyle Allen in the spirit of the UDFA challenge. Let's go. There we go, year 5. Still surprisingly, a lot of our UDFA players are our starter. We're going back to Kyle Allen. Our running backs are still the UDFAs. Our wide receivers, fullback, tight ends, UDFAs on the offensive line. We only got Norwell remaining, but that was kind of expected because most of the linemen were pretty damn old, like Villanueva and Penn and DeMar Dodson. But we still have Norwell representing, holding strong. Defensively, now this is where we've drafted fairly well. So our linebacking core now, outside of Littleton, is guys that we drafted. Defensive line, outside of Shaq Barrett, is guys that we drafted. But our secondary, outside of the strong safety starter, is all UDFAs. Herndon, Wallace, Callahan, NRC, Darius Williams, Harris. So the identity of this team, especially special teams with Lambo and Hecker, is still very, very strong and connected and tied to our challenge. So hopefully, now that we've gone back, hopefully got that zen right in the world, we're back to a UDFA quarterback. We're going to find a way to sneak into the playoffs and go on a Cinderella run. All right, let's just do this live, man. Sim the whole season. Everything on the line. I'm going to say 9-7 is probably our cap, right? But we'll use this time in case it's going to be in. Keep on suggesting, man. I think after the last video, I added 2 more ideas to the list. So always, 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 if you have a great idea for a fantasy draft rebuild challenge, let me know in the comment section below because this is probably one of my favorite things to do. It's different. It's a change of pace. And for fuck's sakes, we didn't make the playoffs. 7 wins? 8-8. I mean, we knew it was going to be tough. I knew right away when I kind of saw what the quarterback was, what we're going to have to deal with, understanding that Kyle Allen and Case Keenum were really our only 2 options to get a quarterback, and knowing that I wanted to stay with the theme of UDFA's long term, it was going to be tough. But the fact that we've got us up to an 85 overall team, full kudos. I mean, full kudos. Deontay Harris, return man, developed into a hell of a weapon on the offensive side of the ball. Eckler, almost a 90 overall. I mean, it's not like we developed or anything. He came in as an absolute baller. Robinson was good. Jack Barrett was solid. It's just one of those things, man. It was a challenge that really the only thing, like looking back in retrospect, is maybe, and I don't even know if that'd work, would be staying with Kyle Allen and potentially having him go up dev trade. There's now dev trade scenarios for quarterbacks, but they are pretty difficult to get triggered. I don't know if Kyle Allen would have had any scenarios trigger. Oh yeah, that was. Hey, we went back in the spirit of the rebuild and we got punished. 18 touchdowns for Kyle Allen in the final year. It's not what we were looking. I mean, the running back attack, that's kind of what I expected it should have been. It's the strength of the team. Receivers, nothing crazy. Defensively, I mean, Shaq Barrett, that's probably his best year that he had for us. 14 TFLs, 11.5 sacks. Interceptions, solid. 3 for NRC, 3 for Harris, 2 for Herndon. Interceptions back up. But, I mean, at no point did we have anything out of the 20s for our offense. And credit to Mike Zimmer, able to continually have us as a top 20 defense. But the offense just never could get it going. It's a challenge that we're almost doing from the beginning with the lack of options at quarterback. So, that being said, fellas, just keep on suggesting ideas that are going to be fun, that are going to be intriguing, and if they're good enough, they'll make the list. And we'll put it up in a video. Thank you guys for love and support. We should be back tomorrow with our second episode of the Philadelphia Eagles Madden 21 franchise. As episode 1 for us, we beat the Giants. And of course, in real life, Eagles found a way to lose to Danny Dimes. So we'll be back with episode 2, which is the Cleveland Browns. So I'm going to be excited to get back into that one. And the support on that first video was amazing. It's awesome. It definitely overcompensated for the fact of how bad I felt about the Eagles losing to the Giants in real life. So, I just hope I can keep making good, entertaining content for you guys here in Madden 21. So that being said, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed, helped out my videos in the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.